And the results are always something that you don't quite expect.
All right, let's jump right into it then. Starting in the northwest of Nightshade here, playing as the Blue Protoss, it is MaxPax.
And playing in the southeast side is the Red Terran. Playing for Team Mousesports, it is Big Gabe. And MaxPax is already up to no good here, Todd. He didn't go for the first probe. He went for the 12 pylon, which, if my Protoss games are anything to go by, this is very much going to be something very cheesy, most likely a Void Ray all-in.
And usually when these two face off and that happens, how does the game go? Do they trade, or is it like, what is this build about? Like, you have to sit and also react perfectly, I assume, if you're HeRoMaRinE?
Yeah, you absolutely do. That being said, he isn't making his second gas yet, and he's just going to go for an expo, I think. But it's... Or is he? I mean, MaxPax, honestly, he's a wild one, Todd. He's super wild. Maybe this is just going to be the parting build, where you end up with a gateway on the map and end up attacking with Adepts and Stalkers and stuff. There's honestly a lot of variety in early game, but and yeah, so it isn't quite the Void Ray all-in, but it's he's gonna be up to no good. You can bet your bottom dollar about that.
HeRoMaRinE is finally scouting with an SCV, and you can tell, like, it's important for him to know exactly what's happening there. He's gonna be scouting even more after that with the Reaper, and scouting with an SCV, I guess, allows him to check a little bit out on the map if there were to be something proxied. Is there a priority? Like, now he's checking the top. Do you think he also has to check the bottom side of the map in case he misses something up there?
I think it's smart. He knows that the gateway is earlier than normal. He knows the cyber core is earlier than normal as well. And normally to hold off this Adept, you need at least either 3 Marines or 2 Marines and a Reaper. So I think he's just being careful about what he's up against here, and he sees absolutely everything. Keeps the Reaper at home. Actually micros with the Reaper ridiculously well as well. And he does definitely hold off the first Adept very well. Back at home, it's also going to be mentioned, MaxPax didn't probe scout. That is... Protoss are tending to do this more often these days, and it's not entirely necessary, but as a Terran player, it also makes you worry a bit when you don't get scouted. But I think MaxPax is going to be doing his DT drop on this map, which is definitely a build that he loves.
Let's see the Reaper trying to get a snipe on that probe. Barely lives. Very well done here. I would have lost that probe like 2,000 games out of 2,000, man. Let me tell you. But the Adepts on the other side pressuring heavily. You can tell, like, already from the start and the way these guys are playing, how high level a game this is. Like, you know, little small details. There is no extra passiveness. Now a probe getting sniped on the expansion, and he's gonna hop into the main base and see everything. The Dark Shrine, the additional gateway. And now it's for MaxPax to consider what does he think is gonna happen from there in terms of reaction from HeRoMaRinE. Of course, like, a Raven will be a very common answer. So then, does he skip DTs entirely and then do something else? I don't think you want to cancel the Dark Shrine necessarily. I think it's still okay to let it finish, though.
Yeah, so it's not like the olden days where it's like, oh, damn, the Dark Shrine got scouted. Like, I have to either cancel it or something else. Because it's a lot cheaper now. But also, DTs, there's a potential to do an Archon drop instead, which is also super good in this matchup. It's got to be said, like, the way that Big Gabe scouted this game has been really damn key, knowing exactly what he's up against. And this is definitely one of MaxPax's favorite builds that he very often falls back on. And I'm genuinely curious how Big Gabe goes about this game from this point on, because I personally find it very difficult. But maybe, in the fact that he's making Vikings and siege tanks, maybe he's going to go for something a bit like a bit of a tank push here.
He's playing very defensive, that's for sure. If MaxPax can not overextend, he sees a turret in the expo. That usually means there is one in the main. He even sees the Raven. I like that he didn't overextend. He saw that it was well defended. He probably understands how much was invested into getting the appropriate defense against this. And he's probably happy with just getting ahead economically from there.
This is actually really sick, getting some damage on the Warp Prism. I'm a little bit surprised that he didn't try and hunt it down a bit more. And that's something that MaxPax is worried about here. That's why he warped in the Stalker to assist the Archon. But Big Gabe, he's just very happy defending. He's going up to 3 barracks, getting his upgrades flowing, and he's just happy to be a 2-base Terran for now. And I think rightly so, because he hasn't taken too much damage, but these Adepts are annoying as hell.
This Prism has to be careful. It looks like he might want to drop around the Expo. Oh, no, he might just fly on home. No, he's going around. Knowing that there is a Viking, this is super scary. The thing about getting a Raven this early as well is that it's going to build up on energy for a while, and then when you finally attack, these are going to help out so much during the push, and I do think it's going to be a very strong push out of HeRoMaRinE there eventually. He just saw the 3rd base.
Yeah, HeRoMaRinE is definitely in the know about everything, and this 3rd base, it's not super late or early. Oh, this could be gnarly. Blink, maybe, is he going to blink into this? He's lost vision, and no, he didn't want to go for it. I think it would have been suicidal if he did, but the last time that I saw MaxPax play against the Terran, he went for a very similar push on Oxide, which just instantly won the game. So Big Gabe is doing a good job of just making sure that he's not dying to any of these shenanigans.
MaxPax is transitioning seamlessly into everything that he wants here, it seems like. This guy opened Dark Templars, then he was like, okay, Dark Templars not gonna work. He went Archons, he's finding some snipes on SCVs into the expansion here, losing only the shields on those Archons. And yeah, behind this, he went into Charge, or Blink first, then Charge, and now he's adding Colossus. He's getting like everything. What's next? He's about to drop a Stargate and go Mothership or what?
At some point, we're definitely going to see upgrades coming out of him, like we have to. Or he's getting +1, I mean. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. He can do anything, but he has to worry about this. Big Gabe did kill the Observer. Now he's out on the map. Oh, is he going to go for a... I think he's going to go for a cheeky surround here on these Blink Stalkers, and they're potentially going to have nowhere to run. But no Stim. Stim wasn't done yet, but still, 2 Stalker kills for nothing. I think that was very smart by HeRoMaRinE.
Wait, MaxPax is taking a 4th base? Are you kidding me right now? He didn't take the gases on the 3rd base. He stayed on 16 out of 16 probes. So optimal saturation. And I think he's just building up a Colossus count quickly enough to feel confident about taking that base.
That 4th base, though, you're right, is Larry. Scan goes down. Will the Scan get to see what pops out? He's like, okay, there's a Colossus. Big Gabe is going to be flying over his 3rd very soon. But this push, 3 tanks, a full energy Raven, this is very scary for MaxPax. Honestly, he should be very worried because this army is pretty damn small.
Yeah, there's a chance he's not respecting the attack enough. Interference Matrix is the perfect counter to this Colossi. He needs to double force field and evacuate maybe, but he's sticking around, waiting for the Interference Matrix to run out to then re-engage. There is so much from HeRoMaRinE.
Yeah, and all the shield batteries are dead, so no overcharge anymore. The Marauders are doing a good job soaking. The Marines all behind the Marauders here. The Widowmine's going off, the tank's firing. MaxPax is losing everything here, including this base. And oh golly, this is a lot of dead Protoss here. For Terrans out there, they're rejoicing all over.
Yeah, that 4th base may have been a little bit greedy here. I think he should have focused on getting more units first and foremost. And the Interference Matrix is always going to be tricky to deal with here. Colossus getting jumped on top of. There's no War Prison for the save. He can't pull back to a shield battery. Just down to the last few Stalkers. Widowmines are going to burrow next to the Stalkers. He dodges the shots and gets a somewhat decent cleanup, I guess.
Yeah, I think that might have been a little bit of an overextension by Big Gabe, but the blink into the Marauders, it's definitely not the direction they wanted to be doing that in. And I think Big Gabe didn't realize that there is actually a 4th base, and especially the position that it's in. But look at this. His worker count behind all this wasn't all in at all by the Terran. He's on 67 SCVs. He is rich.
Yeah, it's doing really well with the macro as well, not floating any minerals. I mean, of course, it's Big Gabe we're talking about. That Prism down there, big harass potential towards the main base if he were to start sending some Zealots. And I guess MaxPax, he probably needs to retake that Nexus on where his 3rd base used to be.
And it is a dead spot too, or like in the main base at least. MaxPax constantly getting damage done with these Stalkers. Few Zealots do run into the main base. We'll kill a few SCVs here. And right now, MaxPax is just hoping to buy time with all of this.
Yeah, the problem is his upgrades here, really. He has only +1 attack. Now he's starting +1 armor. Catches some of these Vikings there on their own. And for Big Gabe, the tricky part is getting enough Vikings to be able to fight against Colossi. Against 2 Colossi like this, you know that there's going to be a 3rd one on the way a lot of the time. It's actually a disruptor on the way. And he feels confident enough to engage, even though there's 2 Colossi.
Yeah, I mean, if he didn't when he was 50 supply ahead, something would be weird, right? But yeah, MaxPax was posturing so aggressively, but I liked it by him because it kind of took the pressure off him defensively. The Warp Prism is going to a safer location here, going for Blink DTs and another 4th base, and yet again. And this is when he's only on 54 probes, so this boy definitely likes to expand rather proactively.
Do you think it's a bit of a desperate play because he realizes how far behind he is, or is it something that he would do if they were more even?
I think one thing that's really good about MaxPax actually is he doesn't get thrown off even when he does take a bit of a hit. He's going to do everything he can that he thinks is a good decision, and honestly, it's one of those situations we talked about earlier. Everything's going to feel a bit bad, but he's still making a damn good game out of it.
4th command center on the way now for HeRoMaRinE, still being harassed a bit in the main base. DTs are there. And Blink not quite finished yet for them. He's going around with the army. I think he's just trying to get on top of one of these bases before MaxPax can react. He's going to scan. Disruptors coming in. Oh, they were move commands, and they get sniped before they can even shoot anything. HeRoMaRinE, ever the opportunistic.
Yeah, that was really good sniping by HeRoMaRinE. He cleans up the DTs back at home as well, along with the Warp Prism, the aggressive Warp Prism. And that is a fleet of Vikings to be scared of. These Colossus, they are not going to last for a long time. The Disruptor hasn't shot yet. It is moving into the army. The shot does go off. It whiffs. Nice movement by HeRoMaRinE. And HeRoMaRinE, so confident, is even taking out this base while all this is going on.
Yeah, that's crazy. He completely shut him down. Confident enough. I mean, even if he fights here, as long as he trades, he can just remake units. He's trying to rejoin this army with the reinforcements coming in from behind. Done such a good job of dodging. Oh my god, the friendly fire actually from that last Nova, but there's a lot of zealots. He's just gonna have to kite. As long as he saves these medivacs here, he's totally fine.
Yeah, I mean, the bio's getting really low, but the damage has been done. That was 2 expos for absolutely nothing. And I mean, MaxPax, amidst all of this, has done some economic damage back at home for HeRoMaRinE, because that SV count isn't super high. But that upgrade lead, it's really going to start to kick in soon. +2 is finishing now for HeRoMaRinE.
Yeah, you can easily transfer SCVs to that new base. I'm guessing that's going to be a planetary most likely as well for the easier defense. And when you take such a hit on your economy like this, as the MaxPax has, I feel like it's so hard to recover because you're going to be long distance mining for a long time. It's almost as if like you would have to start 2 Nexus, but it's always going to equal like a big supply difference, which, as we know, dictates everything in this game. Oh my god, that was so close.
That was a really good split by Big Gabe there. Really good split. This Concave, though, this isn't one that a Protoss wins any day, and that is so much Terran. Even the Archon can't really get away, can it? Or can it? Oh, a bit of a desperate Nova there to finish things off, and GG. Big Gabe takes the first game.
Super solid. Defended everything there was to defend. He almost felt for a moment that maybe he had overreacted, but I feel like it's better to overreact than to underreact to something like this because you don't want to die to it.
Yeah, definitely. It was interesting by MaxPax as well. Like he delayed, or he put so much in to getting that gateway and cybercore so early for that adept to get out across the other side of the map. But excuse me. But Big Gabe, he knew how to react to it all. Like, he scouted with the SCV. He wasn't skipping a beat there. I imagine that's going to be something we see from Big Gabe every game, is just a nice early SCV scout. And his reaction was super clean. Like, he got Reaper out, 2 Marines before the reactor. Didn't really worry. He gets a really good Reaper scout off on the Dark Shrine. Gets a Hellion scout off as well to see when the 3rd goes up. Like, Big Gabe's game plan that game was just scout, make sure that I'm not going to get bamboozled, and just attack when I plan on attacking, and it worked out super damn well for him.
It's better to plan when you plan on attacking than when you didn't plan on attacking, Ben. That is for sure. That works out pretty well for him. Very impressed with Gabe. I mean, that's what he's known for, is being the very solid player that he is. Doesn't need to do anything fancy, doesn't need to throw in a bunch of proxies. Just scouts. Scout with SCV, scout with Reaper. In this case, the Reaper saw literally everything there was to see, and after that, it was just smooth sailing for the German legends.
Yeah, it's MaxPax is going to have to bring something a little bit different. Like, even though this was different, this was also kind of hindering himself a little bit to try and get ahead, which against Big Gabe, especially in a tournament setting when Gabe's done his prep, and that's a big deal. Like, not a lot of people get to prep when they play against MaxPax that are to his level. But here, Big Gabe, he talks a big talk on his stream, Todd. He's like, oh, in a tournament this would never work and all that jazz, you know, but we're in a tournament and it didn't work against him.
Maybe he was right all along. All right, let's jump into 2K atmosphere, starting in the top right-hand side of the map, playing as the Blue Protoss from Denmark. It's MaxPax.
And spawning over in the bottom left-hand side, playing for Team Mousesports, it is Big Gabe. It's also worth mentioning that MaxPax is now playing for Team Psystorm, as I do believe his team was acquired by Psystorm Gaming, so that's cool to see. Their roster has definitely been boosted by having such a player.
Absolutely, yeah. Do you think Baby Knight will be proud?
Of MaxPax?
Yeah.
Given the Danish link, or?
Yeah.
Oh, I think, yeah, I was wondering, like, what, do you know something I don't? Is it his brother or something? I didn't know what you were getting at.
That would be funny.
But yeah, I think MaxPax is enough to make any Dane proud, honestly. He's super good, Todd. Like, that game didn't really get to showcase everything that he was doing just because he was kind of behind from the get-go. But yeah, this kid he's definitely going to be going places.
I think, yeah, he was, even though he lost, I was pretty impressed. Like, he's transitioned really well all the time. I just feel like just the fourth base was a little bit maybe, you know, autopilot and him misreading how many units were going to be headed his way. But that's also, when the opponent opens with a Raven and you open with Dark Templars, you're never going to have an observer to scout with. Because even if you have one, you know, he'll get sniped. So you can't really see what's moving out to attack you. So maybe he misjudged on the exact size of the army that was going to attack him. And once he was there and ready, it's too late. You know, there's like nothing you can do to really like catch up very well.
Oh yeah, definitely. It also speaks a lot of credit to HeRoMaRinE as well, though, because a lot of Terrans have been caught very off guard by MaxPax's tricks. Like, I think the last time that MaxPax played against Clem, he did end up beating Clem 3-2, which Clem, you know, he's the best Europe, or rather the best Terran outside of Korea. And yeah, MaxPax can go toe-to-toe with guys like him, so he's definitely a beast, especially in this matchup, actually. I think of all the matchups, maybe his PvT is the trickiest and, you know, channels a little bit of that SOS vibe about him. The old SOS vibes, that is.
Let's see if that Reaper can achieve anything else. Both players doing really well with their starting unit here. And we'll be able to chase that away. Robo on the outskirts of the expansion by MaxPax. I feel like this is something that can come back and kind of haunt you if you get siege there, but obviously players this good, usually they can factor in everything, and he's actually going for a big wall at the expansion.
I would not be surprised if MaxPax just does the same thing with the Dark Shrine and what have you, because he's kind of got... he's got two very main go-to builds, and yeah, the Dark Shrine does start now. Two very main go-to builds, and this isn't quite the map for it. He loves Dark Shrine, and he also loves like 4-gate Blink Stalker builds, but with a 4-gate Blink Stalker build, you need a map more like James's Romantic Isle kind of thing, Romanticide there, for like a big space to jump in. Oh, this time the scout was denied though, but I do think Big Gabe's smart enough to know that something like that might be going on, and yeah, it will be Raven again by Big Gabe.
We're so close to seeing the Dark Shrine, but I think he might have seen that nothing was producing on the Twilight Council. Not sure if he was close enough for that, but yeah, I think Gabe's smart enough to put it together. Last game, what he did was get a Raven and turrets. It looks like this time he's going to skip the turrets and just go for the Raven, at least for now.
Well, he's starting the engineering bay, and I mean, it's one of those things, isn't it, in RTS? Like, as long as you do it if you do it as late as possible, it's kind of the best way to go about it. Because I know people don't often think about it, but when you're building a building, that SCV could be mining if not doing that. But, oh, this Hellion actually gets into the base. Might get a probe kill as well, but definitely going to get a bit of a scout off here. Goes the same direction that the Reaper did. And, oh, the probe. Ah, full scout.
What a racer.
What a racer.
Vin Diesel in this Hellion or what? This guy made it all the way at the back. And then after that, he was like, all right, my job is done here. Just like hang around the ramp until he fell. Blink actually being researched now.
Yeah, this is so hard to do, by the way, to defend this DT drop without taking any damage. He did one scan, but the turrets, like, they were pretty much almost perfect there. So we've got a very similar situation. Oh, a Banshee next? Oh, okay, this is already different.
Could he possibly go Cloak?
I don't think he'll go Cloak. I'm more thinking he's just going to do a big push across the map without upgrades.
With multiple Banshees?
Okay, so the Banshee is more just to build anything that's useful. But I think he's just going to push out across the map with anything that he has. These Archons are getting some juicy damn hits here. But yeah, I think he's just hoping to bamboozle MaxPax a little bit. And MaxPax, he's been playing super greedy behind this. He's getting Blink, Forge, Robo Bay. And I think now he's like, oh no. Now he realizes what's happening.
Yeah, so he's getting an Immortal to counter the tanks. And I guess it's going to be for Archons and Stalkers to counter the Marines. This Raven is still really scary. Especially, he can use Interference Matrix on the Archon.
I wouldn't be surprised if he just
the Raven
pops down. If he just pops down some turrets. Oh my gosh, that was close.
MaxPax fighting too early here.
He certainly is, and the overcharge is going, and it's just in range. The tanks are trying to focus fire. Well, first the Immortals, then the Stalkers. One Archon does fall. MaxPax does hold, though.
A very big hold because that's the third base, and to do this push with as many units as he did it, HeRoMaRinE actually skipped third command center entirely. He instead went into barracks number 4 and 5. So he just wants to get a lot of units. It feels like he needed to do damage here and then do a follow-up push with more units after. Try and finish it.
Yeah, I don't want to say this was a disrespect play, but I think Gabe thought that was going to do more than it did. And you see here, a few add-ons are being cancelled and switched, and a little bit of indecision there by the German. Because it looked like he wanted to go for Widowmines, and he was like, no, I'm going to go for tanks. That is a forward tank if I've ever seen one. Well, MaxPax was thinking about it.
Steam Pack and Combat Shield finally about to finish here, and HeRoMaRinE is going to play it safe for a while, just sit back at home, and you have to wait until you have a proper army here before you finally go for it.
I'm just looking at these add-ons, Todd, and I think this was a conscious choice by HeRoMaRinE. He's actually got 4 tech labs on his barracks, so he's producing 4 Marauders at a time. So absolutely, I think he scanned the natural. He knew it was going to be Colossus, and he's like, you know what? We're going to really try and hard counter this kind of army. Oh, 2 Stalkers die here. That was bad for MaxPax.
He's moving out. He's got a lot, and there's still no third base for HeRoMaRinE. Of course, he can fly his main orbital to a new base, but usually this kind of attack has to do a lot of damage. Interference Matrix is going to be big. In game 1 already, he did so much in incapacitating these Colossi before he finally got the engagement.
And I think MaxPax has misread this, and yet again, he's taken a 4th base, but he's getting 2 base all-in. I hope that doesn't bite him in the butt here. Big fight going down. No Interference Matrix yet, but he's trying to bait out the Interference Matrix with the Warp Prism. Like, he was lifting up the Colossus there. So that was a really cute play by MaxPax.
He knows about the danger of this for sure. Raven goes forward, finally lands the double Interference Matrix. MaxPax might have to pull back entirely up until the interference is gone. Vikings putting in work. They're going to snipe the Prism. MaxPax barely has anything left.
No, MaxPax, he has a 4th Nexus, but Big Gabe's on his front door here. And MaxPax, he's got nothing really left to shoot down the Vikings. The Colossus go down uncontested pretty much, and that is all his AoE gone. That Immortal is lucky to live here, but the Colossus, that Marauder from downtown.
And HeRoMaRinE with very well prepared builds here. punishes the fourth base of MaxPax with some really good pushes. Zealots on the other side trying to do a counter attack, but that's going to be defended here. Viking even landing. What is this? The Heart of the Swarm cinematic?
Yeah, I have no idea. All those Zealots needed to be was an ultra, right? So Big Gabe does see this fourth base. The probes did give it away. And, you know, if Gabe takes out that fourth base, then we're kind of reset, because that, believe it or not, that was a super all-in by Gabe. Like, he needed that to deal as much damage as it did, or more. But if it is 2 base versus 2 base, that is a lot better for the Terran player. Like the Protoss, they kind of want to be 1 base up, really, if they can.
I guess MaxPax might re-expand on the other side. I see him long distance mining here. Kind of on the right-hand side. But yeah, upgrade-wise, it's not been very upgrade-heavy, and that's because he keeps on transitioning from one composition to another. And yeah, he only has +1 attack here. But so does Gabe.
Oh. Yeah, Gabe has to be careful here that he doesn't get caught out, because his army, it's obviously strong, but it's mainly strong if it's sieged up and ready. Oh, wow, those Stalkers, they have to be ballsy. Is he going to lose a Colossus here? They're both ridiculously low, and oh, the force fields, they weren't in time, and Big Gabe is just chasing down the young Dane here.
Yeah, Colossus is looking back at the army, absolutely hopeless. Purification Nova will lens, but there's still so much Terran where that came from, and a big supply lead now for the biggest of Gabes.
Big Gabe still hasn't been making a 3rd base, right? Like, he's totally all about this attack right now, and rightly so. MaxPax rushes in, it's away from the shield battery. The Archon is ridiculously low here. No Novas for this fight. One does go off, gets a single Marauder. Nice split by the German. But there's just so much Terran here. I think Big Gabe's done it.
So Marauder heavy, so good at kiting. Very few forces left for MaxPax. That's it. HeRoMaRinE with a very convincing 2-0 here.